Welcome to the show. So glad you're here.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start by having you introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, where you work, and basically what you do.
My name is Aubrey Schuurmans. I'm the Director of Talent Acquisition at AOI Corporation here in Omaha.
Great. And how long have you been in HR?
HR, specific. I feel like I've done a lot of things that have been HR adjacent, but true HR roles, 3.5 years.
Great. So what first then drew you to a career in HR, working HR adjacent, but then also getting into HR?
Yeah. So my master's degree is in counseling and human resource development. For my undergrad, my undergrad is in psychology with a minor in sociology. And that was a journey too, because I first started in athletic training. I'm an athlete. I thought I wanted to do that. One class in, I decided that if some guy broke his leg on the football field, I'm not the person to help with that. That's not blood, all the things, that's not me. So anyway, met an advisor who suggested I give that a try. I had done a intro to psych class and thought it was really interesting. And so went down that path. And then when I went to South Dakota State to get my master's degree, went through the program, picked school counseling as my track, just kind of fell in love with psychology and just, I don't know, all pieces of it. My advisor had known that I was potentially going to move to Omaha. He had a connection at Trainer, Iowa, Jan Strutzenberg. Love her. She is the school counselor there. So to finish up my master's degree, I went and spent time with her for my internship, and come to find out that in the state of Nebraska at that time, in order to be a school counselor, you also had to have a teaching certificate. Everywhere else in the world it felt like didn't, but here you did. So I was still training, had my son. Jan's parents were regulars at Wheatfields, and so she was like, talk to my parents, go there. Worked there while I was still training. And while I was there, one of my regulars loved Metro, and that kind of opened my eyes to the opportunities here at MCC. And so came here in the fall of 2015, instantly fell in love with all the people here, all the programs here, specifically the trades. I think I had 7 different positions within the 6.5 years I was here. And I just didn't know what my next step here was. I wasn't really using my master's degree kind of with recruiting and supporting the trades programs and connecting industry partners to our trades programs, which opened up a huge network that I didn't have. I'm not from Omaha, not from Nebraska. And then I just started asking questions like, what is next for me? I love Metro. I want to be here. I fought for my next position here. And I even met with Randy, and one of the things he said to me is, we have a lot of great people here, and sometimes we're a stepping stone, and that's okay. And you can always come back. And so I just started thinking about, what do I want to do? We went on a tour with an industry partner, met with a project manager, and she was just a rock star. And so I wondered, I had recently got my PMP, wondered if project management was an option for me, and just started asking questions and reached out a couple industry partners that I trusted, and asked them. And one of them, Nathan Crick at Enterprise Properties, he invited me out to coffee. He's like, you could go into project management, but you're going to have to take some classes. You're not in project management. He was very sweet about it and didn't make me feel stupid at all. He's like, have you ever thought about HR? Because a lot of the things that you did at Metro are HR adjacent. The recruiting, building relationships, supporting people. I hadn't thought of it. And I don't know why. Nathan opened a door for me into HR, utilizing my master's degree. And so I was there at Enterprise Properties a little under a year. I ended up leaving there. There was a lot of travel involved. They have 6 plants across 3 states. I have 2 young kids. It was too much. AOI is a company that I've loved for a long time. One of the first industry partners I met here, Kathy Seaman, was the HR at AOI for a long time. And she was one of the first people that really, I was new to the trades, didn't know anything about it. And she was someone that was just like, it's okay to not know everything. You have to give yourself grace. You have to give yourself patience. You have to just trust the process. And she was amazing. And so initially I fell in love with her, and by association fell in love with AOI. An opportunity came to join them almost 2.5 years ago, and I've been there ever since, and I love it.
I hear that in your response. And when did you realize then that HR was the right path for you?
Probably so when I first went to Enterprise Properties, I felt like I was drinking from not only a fire hose but like the ocean coming at my face. Like it was a lot. And Nathan was so patient and he taught me so many things. Like I learned so much there. I would say maybe even now, like I'm starting to now see that I love this career path because I get to do so many different things. I get to support people in a company that I genuinely care about. I get to provide opportunities for them to grow in their career with our training programs that we do. I'm able to help people when they're going through stuff, whether it's personal or professionally. I get to work alongside our owners. Like I think now I'm understanding that this was my path, even though it was a long, random, rocky journey to get here. And that was a very long story to get to that point. But I do feel like there were pieces in there that like dictated where I went next. And so maybe now I'm realizing that this is the right path.
I love that. And that's the journey in itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I appreciate you sharing that full journey because I think most people, especially when it comes to careers, don't necessarily plan the path. They kind of fall onto it.
For sure.
Yeah. So I love that you had, a lot of different people who had that influence with you. So that's wonderful.
For sure.
So tell us then, what is your current role and what does your typical day look like?
So my current role is director of talent acquisition, and we're talking about how that does not fully align what I'm currently doing. That is a very small piece of what I'm doing. So at AOI, we've talked about there's 4 buckets in HR. We have training, we have safety, we have talent acquisition, and we have compliance. And I am working within all of those buckets at this time. And so hopefully in like a month or so, there's a different title that you see on LinkedIn for me that fully encompasses what I do because it's so random. It's triage, it's what's on fire now, it's and not necessarily in a bad way, but what area of the company needs help right now. And even if I have a plan to do these things today that don't necessarily need to be done today, there's always going to be things that come up, whether it's employer relations, a training gap that we need to fill right now, just having conversations with people on growing in their leadership journey that they're on. So day to day, it's hard to answer. And in this transition of kind of figuring out what my role is and what I do, it's been empowering to me. And I think it's been eye-opening to our leadership team on the things that I am doing and the randomness and the reach that HR has in a company. It's a huge part of an organization, and it's a very integral. What's the word I'm trying to say? Integral. Thank you.
Yes.
Whatever the word I'm
Yes.
trying to say is,
Yeah.
it's an important piece
Yes.
of every company because there's so many things that I'm touching and supporting and advising on. And so day to day, it's hard to answer within those 4 buckets generally, and some, I think, I don't know.
And beyond, I think it's really hard to, especially from an HR standpoint, they're so intermingled, all of the function areas that you've been talking about, especially like those buckets. So in thinking about your experience with them, what part do you find the most energizing or fulfilling?
I'm going to align it with my time at Metro too, because when we would have a student walk through that didn't necessarily know what they wanted to do, and then they came and saw the construction program, the welding program, the CDL program, and like saw, okay, this is something I really enjoy, and this is a place where I can grow, and this is an option for me, and like seeing them light up. And now in this HR role, it's finding the right person for the right role. And I just had a 30-day check-in with an employee that we brought on as an assistant project manager, and she cried because she's so happy and she's so thankful for the opportunity, and it impacts your life where you work. And so when you find someone that their core values align with the company, even if they don't have all the skills right now, but you can see that they can get there, and they come in and they're flourishing in 30 days, that's pretty cool to see. And so I do love that part because it's like a win for me. My top gallows strength is competition. And so since I'm not competing anymore as an
Yeah.
athlete, it is kind of a way for me to like, Achiever is also one of them. So it's like a check on the
Yes.
box. I filled this role. They're amazing. I look good. They look good. The company looks good. And
Yeah.
it's a win all around.
I like that. I like that. It's keeping score in some way. Yeah.
And I do that all day, every day.
I love that. I love that you brought up Gallup strikes, though. Yeah. Okay. And then thinking about that, because it does sound like your job is wonderful. You're certainly excelling at it, and I feel your energy. What has been one of the biggest challenges that you've had in HR, and how did you handle it?
I think I'm in it right now. So my boss at AOI, she left the company. She's still with us as like a consulting, in a consulting role. She's still around. She's amazing. Devastated when she left. But thankfully we still get to work together. But initially it was hard for me to explain everything I was doing. And the ICANN conference, it was funny. A lot of things they said, thankfully I'm doing, or I'm like have ideas to continue working on, but just like documenting all the things I'm doing and all the areas I'm touching has really been eye-opening to our leadership team on not only what I'm currently doing, but what I'm capable of doing and the impact I'm having on the company, because I don't think they had any idea. Somebody, it could have been you, I'm not sure who said it, but somebody said recently that HR is one of those roles that when it's going well, you don't hear much, but when it's going bad, you know that. Like everyone knows it's going bad when it's going bad.
Yes.
So no news is good news in HR sometimes, and that just means that whoever's filling that role is kind of kicking butt and rocking it.
But also, like you said, like how do you keep your own score then as well? So I can see where if it feels like everything's going okay, you're like, all right, what am I taking on today? So
Yeah.
So in thinking about that, then what's next for you? What are you learning and what are you looking forward to?
Because I didn't come from HR specifically, like school counseling was the track. And so those skills obviously align with some of my friends at AOI that I get to work with. But I think next is me just continuing to grow in the HR field, and compliance and compensation are things I haven't done a ton with. And so those are areas that I am looking to grow. My goal by hopefully in the next month or two is to be the director of HR, which we're people growth and development because we're cooler than HR. So my goal is to be the director of people growth and development and continue growing in my career and just keep growing personally and professionally there.
That's great. And I think it's interesting that you talked about compensation and compliance, because from a teaching perspective, a student perspective, and then also probably, I think, for the professionals working in the field, those are challenging areas. And that's something I'm glad to see that it's something that you're pursuing, as well as a lot to learn about. So is there any tools or any resources that you're going to use to help you?
Conferences, like I'm going to go to the Baird Home conference tomorrow. There's some pieces in there that I'm super excited about regarding, just I-9 compliance and compliance in general and handling employer relations. And so I don't know yet, but thankfully I have people like you and other HR professionals that I'm going to lean on to figure out what I don't know and see where my gaps are so that I can fill them.
I think that's great that you said that, because that is something I think that your network, I've said that in my classes, your network is your net worth. And in the HR world, you feel like you kind of operate on an island, especially in the organization. So it's nice to have that network outside of your organization to help you.
It's so important. And that was one of the reasons, because I thought about this a little bit last night on my journey. Every turning point that I look back to, whether it's in my track career, my personal life, or my professional life, there was a person that had some impact on which path I went down. And it does come down to the people you surround yourself with, who you network with. And it's not just, hey, can I have your business card? And then you just have this stack of business cards. It's being memorable to those people, like finding a way to connect with them, touching base with them, like, hey, can we have coffee in a couple weeks? And like following up on those relationships, being active on LinkedIn and those other platforms where you can really connect with people. And I see it more and more. It does matter what you know, but it matters even more who you know, because again, every every time I moved somewhere different or trained somewhere different or worked at a different place, there was some person that either pointed me in that direction or supported me into that role or space or training facility or gym or whatever it was. It came down to who I knew, and that has had a huge impact. Based on what I think is coming in 10 years, my salary will be, it'll be close to 2.5 times what it was. And when you have a family, that's a big deal. If you figure out how to stand out, figure out a way to have people remember you, stay in front of them, that network truly, it's invaluable. Like I don't think you can put a number on how truly important building your network is.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Moving on to some insight. What is something that people don't seem to understand about HR?
One of the things that, and I don't know if this is answering the question or not, but one of the things that's been hard for me recently is like, I want to be everybody's friend. Like, I want to hang out with you. I want to be cool with you. I want us to be able to tell stories. I want us to be able to do all the things. But when you're in HR, that's kind of hard, especially when they're coming to you about stories of something that happened in the field yesterday. And I need to be better at communicating that, because it's just being honest with people. Like, hey, I want to talk to you like my friend, but I can't right now. Like, I'm in this HR seat. You came into my office at the place we work and you're talking about a situation. I have to document and take action based on what you just told me. And that's different than us just being friends, which I want to be your friend. We are friends. I care about you. I don't know if that answers the question, but that's something that I am having to grow into is going from being like an employee, like a director of talent acquisition that was just like setting things up and setting up trainings and being people, like bringing people into the company, to making sure that we're handling situations where there's an employee relations issue and escalating things. If you tell me if you tell me that you're being hurt at home,
Yes.
I have to escalate that.
Yes.
So like that piece is hard for me because I just want to be everybody's friend.
Yeah. Well, then one of those questions that I was putting together was something about like, how do you balance empathy with policy? And as you were talking, that's the question that was coming up with me is I that would be something very difficult. And I think most times when I'm talking with students and they're applying for jobs and they're thinking about HR, they have a certain perception of HR, but they also have a perception that I go to HR when I have a problem. And I think sometimes that is a misconception, especially in the workplace.
Mm-hmm. Even this morning, I came down to our construction group and they're like, "Uh-oh." I'm like, "Stop it."
Yes.
Like, I am cool HR. Like,
Yes.
I am cool. I am awesome. Like, and we all laughed about it and stuff like that. But that's the like, people always kind of give me like a side eye. Like, what are you doing down here? What are you doing? And it is part of it, but just showing people that you're there to help them. You're not there to police them. You're not there to tattle on them. Like,
I know.
I'm just here to support you. Like, what do you want to do? I want to help you do that.
Yeah. I think that it's something to overcome with a lot of that misperception or misconception. Mm-hmm. So in thinking about that, what skills or traits do you think are essential for someone going into HR?
I'm going to lean into our AOI core values because I feel like not only do they help people be successful at AOI in general, but like just specifically in your life. And then I think I can relate them to HR. So our first one is and some. It's a made up word that you do your job and some. Not necessarily work 60 hours a week, but you'll go the extra mile. You'll take the extra step. You'll see how else you can support the company, the employee, the situation. Passionate. I think you have to be passionate about what you do. You have to care. I think like no matter what you're doing, if you don't care about it, you're going to be miserable. Mm-hmm. But if you genuinely care about the company, the people, the things you're doing, you're going to love what you do. Sharp and tenacious. So continually learning, continuing to, if there's an issue that maybe is getting kind of swept under the rug, like continuing to be like, hey, nope, we said we're going to do something about this. This is our policy. This is what we need to do. So continuing to kind of like fight for what is right. You have to be someone that people can come to regardless of what's going on and know that, what you tell me, it is, unless I need to escalate it, like it's a conversation between you and I'm happy to help you. Just be a good person, like assume positive intent. I think being a genuine person is huge and doing what you say you're going to do, having some integrity. I think those core values that we have at AOI can translate to anywhere.
Those are exceptional core values for any organization. So I love that you were able to apply that in a way that applies to HR in a career field in itself. So, okay, so to wrap up a little bit, I do have a segment on hot topics. So it's your take on what's trending. How about AI in hiring? Is that a helpful tool or a potential minefield?
We haven't used it much when it comes to hiring. However, I don't know if people are submitting resumes and cover letters and stuff like that are AI generated. I have no idea.
They are.
I know. And the thing is, like, I've used ChatGPT too. Like, if I'm sending out a communication company wide and I have this feeling I want to convey, but I can't come up with the words, and I throw it in there and it just spits something out that sounds incredibly professional and passionate and amazing. Why not use it? Because that's a shortcoming I have. I'm not great at fully communicating what's in my head in a way that sounds great.
Sounds like ChatGPT.
Example right here of what just happened.
You've done a great job.
Thank you. But that's, I mean, I don't know. We had an all company meeting last week, and our president, CEO, co-owner stood up and said that she wants us to use AI, but I don't think we know what that means at AOI specifically. I do know some people are using ChatGPT for things like that, like job descriptions, to clean up job descriptions. We have redundancies and things that just doesn't align with what we're looking for. You can mesh two together in 2 seconds.
Which is really, in HR, everything runs around a job analysis, creating a job description, how do we conduct performance reviews. So getting that right and using a tool like AI to help you really just kind of tighten it up. Yeah, I like that. How about LinkedIn? So is that a professional brand builder or a slippery social media slope?
I think LinkedIn is a very powerful tool, but you have to remember that it's a professional tool. I don't see a ton of people sharing personal things on there, but I would shy away from that. I have made a commitment this year to be an AOI storyteller through LinkedIn. And so every week on my calendar, I have 3 reminders to make a social media post. I'm committed to 2, but there's 3 reminders to at least look around and see what's happening. And so I think that it is an opportunity specifically for HR professionals to tell the story of their organization. We have a marketing social media person, but I can be an additional storyteller. It's not just the company's page that's going to tell the story. And I'm trying to get my project managers, my vice presidents, other people to continue telling the story, because the more we're out there, the more people are going to be like, hey, what is going on over at AOI? Like, they're doing some cool stuff. And then also as an HR professional, it's an easy way to build your network, to find the right people for the right role. If you're in talent acquisition, I use LinkedIn and Indeed almost exclusively. Employer referrals is also like a huge space that we look to bring people into the company. But LinkedIn and Indeed are the 2 that I use the most.
It's a pretty amazing tool, I think, for especially for capturing your professional network, but also casting for it, isn't it? Yeah. If you could wave, my final question, if you could wave a magic wand to improve any part of the employee experience, what would it be?
I want to say something about communication because that comes up all the time, but I don't know how to. If I knew how to fix it, I would probably be a billionaire if I could fix communication in an organization. Just to come up with something, the first thing that comes to my mind is one of the things we talk about. Don't necessarily always follow as best as we could, but just always assume positive intent with your people and your company and have some trust in what they're doing. Easier said than done. But when you assume that people are not out to get you or not out to ruin your day or not out to screw things up for you, and assume that they were just doing their best, things are going to be a lot easier for you and you're going to be a lot happier. And again, I need to eat my own medicine, but maybe that just help an organization, mine specifically, to always keep that in mind. Just assume that whatever's going on or whatever someone did, they were just doing their best. And they really did do it with positive intent.
I like that. I like, that's probably a life lesson in itself as well, isn't it? So, well, this was such a great conversation. I really appreciate you sharing all of your experience and all the insights with us. So thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yep.